Next one, so social psychology, like any science. When people ask you what is psychology, I think it's weird. I think it's like people playing the future, people being predictor. It is actually not. It is a field, a science field. First, it involves the description, a careful and reliable observation. We observe people and we write down what is happening. Secondly, we explain. We try to explain. We connect what is observed. We connect the linkage between the different variables. Next one, sometimes we do research method is because there are some conflicting findings. If you do a lot of research and over the internet on just one particular thing, let's say talk about coffee. Some people say coffee is good for your health. Some people say coffee is bad for your health. That's why when we have a conflicting findings, we have to see what's happening between the two articles, so we can do our own studies and we can better the other articles. Some people will say chocolate is not good. Some people will say chocolate is good. And even within the same issue, people would have conflicting findings. Yeah. Now, is this right or wrong, or is this just nonsense? I cannot say that, but we have to understand that within the findings, within the experiment, it is always in a box specially formed with different population, with different methods, with different importance and different focus. And that's why there are different findings. So you, as if you want to become a good researcher, what you need to do is to identify what makes them different. Now, research, it means convert your ideas into action. Sometimes ideas are very abstract. You do not know what you're talking, you do not know how to portray it out, but you have an ideas, abstract ideas, feelings, angers, happiness. How do you put it into action? How do you want to test happiness? Or how do you want to test sadness? Or how do you want to test anger, jealousy? These are all the things that you can do through research, is putting your ideas into action. Now, some of the concept in order for you to understand further on is the first one, it's the theory. A theory is a set of abstract concepts together with propositions about how they relate to one another. Theory, we have the fraud theory, we have different theories. How do you form theories? It's through real life or from other researchers. We get the theory. Now, hypothesis, it means your prediction. So based on your theory, you do your hypothesis. You might say, people who have guns, who own guns, they are more aggressive in nature. So you might want to test that, because you might watch it on TV that people who are caught by police, they are often gangsters. So you came to your hypothesis that people who own guns, they tend to be more aggressive. Now, operationalization, it means your theoretical construct. You have your theory, you have your hypothesis, you put into something that's measurable. Research methods, you need to be able to measure. If you can't measure them, it's very hard for you to call it a research. How do you measure love? How do you measure anger? Or how do you measure happiness? Yeah, these are some things for you to think about. 3 variables that we can put into, it's the independent variable, the dependent variable, and also the responding variable. This one we will look later on. Theories are scientific explanation that connect and organize existing observation, and also theories suggest fruitful paths for future research. Theories, they are not facts. They are not facts. Facts only becomes facts after the theories have been went through numerous times, thousands of times to polish it to become a fact. Hypothesis, it means a researcher's prediction about what he or she will find. And most importantly, research is all about relationship. You can't test between A and B without something in between. There must be a relationship in between that connects what you're trying to research about. Now, for example, the theory is that mood is contagious. So your hypothesis will be people with happy people, they'll be happy as well. Now, you want to do a research, you want to do an experiment. So you have to figure out what to use, what your instrument will be. Now, people with happy people will be happy as well. So you might want to use a questionnaire that tests people's happiness. Or you might want to find two people, one is a bit introvert and one is extrovert, and you compare their difference, the effect they have on their friends. You can always form up your experiments, how you want it to be conducted. Next one is every research, they will strengthen the theory every time. That's what we said just now. Every research, you bring in new clues into the theory. Theory is usually, it's not just one sentence. A theory put in a lot of factors and influences into the theory. Now, research strategies, they involve two kinds. One is quantitative. Quantitative, it means quantity. When we talk about quantity, we talk about number. Now, of course, if you have more numbers, then the result will be more reliable. Now, the first one you can get is from the archives. Archives means you look at the past publications or the past research. You want to look at mood being contagious, you look up on that, you look up on the archives. Next one is your survey, or you can just do your own survey. Are you a happy person? Do you affect the people around you to be happy? You can do this survey. Next one is psychological test. Psychological test is actually different from other tests. You have to understand that. Psychology tests, in order to become one, they have to pass through several tests, such as validity and reliability, which will go later on. Now, of course, psychological tests, being a psychologist, it's always better to be used compared to survey. Survey is more of the common use by many people, which has a lot of flaws. Next one is experiment. We tend to like to use experiment. We put in a setting, which is a special room that you set for your participants to go inside the rooms and you do your own experiments. You can have a survey or a video shown, and you can see how. Next one, a quasi-experiment. A quasi-experiment, it means that it's like a field experiment. A quasi-experiment, it happens because you have no control over the situation. That's why you need to use quasi-experiment. Now, if you want to do an experiment, most often than not, you do not want people to know what you are testing. Because when people want to know what you're testing, they tend to behave in that way. And your results will not be what you want to find, but what you intend to find. But they want to just fulfill, to satisfy you. That's why they do the experiment as what you want your outcome to be. True randomized experiment, this one means everyone, let's say around your school or around Malaysia, they have an equal chance to be participated in your experiment. You don't select specific people, but you can just select A, B, C, D from your people around you. That becomes a true randomized experiment because you're getting a collective, a collection, or a representative sample around your place. Next one is the field experiment. This is called the observation. So you just observe people from the site. You want to see whether, let's say just now we talk about mood is contagious. So we go to the cinema. So one we are showing a comedy and one we are showing a sad love story. And at the end of at the end of the experiment, we focus on the people's feeling or the people's mood to see whether they are happy or not. So this is like field experiment. In fact, when you do field experiment, the people do not know that you are actually doing it, or they are being a part of your experiment.